anymore. So CM is not going to be able to do that, so they need the Spirit Breaker in position to be able to cancel Shadow Shaman Shackles, or they need Darkseer there to vacuum to cancel them, or an SB ult. But that's a lot of commitment to just cancel those type of shackles. So I look at LGD's draft, and yeah, I see a lot of just roaming potential. I saw this Darkseer, and I saw this Spirit Breaker, and I was like Shadow Shaman Chen, these two heroes, they love to dual roam. This is a thing of the past, sure, but it can still work. They put this solo laner that can just eat the pressure, and then they make moves. So even the TA, sure, they picked this Lash square. The matchup might not be amazing for the Lash, but you bring other heroes in and it starts to change it up quite a lot.
Well, let's see from TNC. I mean, what sort of the strengths for you in looking at TNC's lineup then? They have a lot of ways to run in, right? You've got this Bristle, Breaker, they're going to be good to go. They're going to have all the mana in the world to work with thanks to the CM.
They've got good Roche, they've got good ways to plant themselves out in front of Roche. I think that's the thing with the Bristle too. Like Kyle was mentioning, it's that hero that plants in front of the towers and prevents objective taking. I think the same goes for Roshan. You go, you walk over there, and you're just going to sit there in front of them, and they're not really going to be able to push through you unless they have a lot of farm, which could end up being the case. But we will see, as this should be
some beautiful
a really exciting one.
Clapping from the crowd and synchronization of Chalice and his drum. Is that a penguin on a surfboard?
I don't know, but I love it.
I love it too. Gabby, he's not loving it.
He is dead.
Oh my goodness, he got baited by the penguin.
Whew. Can't underestimate the potential of them skilling Gush there.
Yes.
That extra damage, 4 armor reduction. It doesn't matter if you're Bristleback. You don't have your Bristleback yet. So, yeah, lots of damage coming in between them. So as we see immediately, they're eating the creep wave top, as we call it. Just the ion shells just to bring it down as fast as possible. They don't actually have the double yet. Now they will. They even are going to throw the nuke from the CM to secure that last hit. Okay, so they get that, but it is split 3 ways.
Because so they're going to, because of this, they can look to dive with this creep wave. Get on to Arme. See, they're able to redirect the aggro back towards their own creeps. They're surrounding Arme.
He's in trouble.
I mean, Shaman's heading over, but he's not going to get here in time. This play's worked out for TNC. Now we'll see the 2 supports turn up, FY and Xnova, but they could be in trouble as well. Tim's is going to look to run down FY. Another slow out from AU, and the damage from the Iron Shell ticking FY down. That Orb of Venom helping out as well. Won't quite be enough to kill him, but the aggression from TNC, we're seeing it already here on this top lane. FY comes in for another blast, but that's going to give the chance for Tims to turn to charge, get on top of him, and FY, he's got stick charges, but with that Iron Shell and the dive, Tims needs one more hit to get the kill. Can he find it? He can. The Iron Shell from Cuckoo ticks down FY. As FY sort of gave up his life there, Tims will go for the deny before FY is back in the lane to have a chance of grabbing the XP.
Xnova got the XP for it, though.
Xnova was close enough.
He was close enough for it, so he did get that level 2 ticked up to him. Immediate charge looked like it was going to be coming from Tims, but he actually stops it. Looks like he's picking up the items. Okay, full Soul Ring already for Cuckoo.
All right. Thanks to those early kills.
He's just going to TP up top, and we see him. He pings out his buddy, and he's going to just hand it over.
And we'll see with this pressure. Obviously, we talked about PSG LGD's opportunity to move around the map a lot with their supports, but if this sort of tri-lane continues up top, they may want to focus a little more sort of, having one of the supports being static and keeping that lone druid alive mid lane. Straight up outplay from Maybe. Solo killing Armel's TA.
He was getting a lot of denies as well with his stun, but getting a solo kill on a TA as a Lesh, he just gave him the right click.
It is the Maybe Lesh, and as the panel said, he has been looking phenomenal on this hero.
Absolutely.
And there's just a straight up demonstration of that, getting a solo kill.
We see the other lanes, though. Gabby versus Chalice down here, having a very good time. Chalice will be able to start to build up, of course, and do fine down here, too. It's just, he had to skill Gush at level 1, and now he's putting a 1v1. That's never what you really want as a Tidehunter, but he'll be able to catch up, as we're saying, as top.
Back on with the aggro to try and focus down onto Xnova, but he's able to keep his distance. It's going to be a little harder now, level 3 on the bear, so Arme has that potential to sort of poke back at them anytime they do look to go for a kill, and obviously, when you're running this aggro track, you do need to be finding these kills.
Yeah. They're still pretty good on levels. 2.5 on each of them. FY still only level 1 on the Shadow Shaman there. We see him running away. Ame almost level 4, though. And Xnova approaching 2.5. So they're distributing their experience a little bit differently on the side of LGD. And FY looks like he's actually walking mid for a second. He saps 1 creep of experience from the Lesh. So hits level 2. Now he can even set up for kills in the mid lane, too, if he does see an opportunity.
We'll see if Armel gets caught out a little too far. He's going to start trading hits back towards maybe, but he's positioned pretty deep. So FY able to easily walk around, get the wrap around, shackle into the stun. Tims does come in, but is not quite in time as the lightning from maybe claims Armel's life once again in this middle lane.
Fantastic start for maybe, and they may have killed top, but we see Ame starting to control that lane. He's getting very good farm under the tower on this lone druid. Makes it a lot easier. I mean, lone druid farming under tower, it's one of these matchups we used to see picked a lot versus the darks here because you don't care about Iron Shell. You're easily able to last hit there too. You can always send your bear back to base as well. You can reset your items as well, pick up everything that you need without actually having to move yourself. As now we're seeing the lane break, as we kind of expected for LGD. That's what they wanted to do with their draft. They are moving the Shadow Shaman down bottom to help out Chalice a little bit here, even though he has caught up.
We'll see a bit of space being given in the mid lane as maybe does have to return to the base. That did run out of mana, so he's going back for the refuel. I'll give a little wave or so for Armel to have that free farm and keep himself up there in CS top lane.
Ame.
Another go on to Ame. See if the three of them can get him. The Fear sends back the two of them, but AU still able to get him with the root.
They're divine favoring someone over here.
So Cuckoo can keep on top of Ame. Now does back away, as you say, with the reinforcers coming in. They're now able to turn. Tims, another charge out. Gets him back over to the wave, back to safety, maybe. Is he able to claim anyone with this? As you say, was brought over, will at least be able to secure that top bounty rune. In fact, both of them up top being taken, and down bottom as well. FY able to claim the one of them. So Cuckoo just getting what's a 3 for what against the one there.
Yep, and FY now picks up full arcane boots up and picking up those bounties, and this is a nice move there with that's the beauty of the Chen, right? These free movements around the map, especially around those bounty runes there. We saw him being brought up and setting up for that kill. Now there's a charge coming out onto the mid lane.
See what they can do here. They got the damage with a refraction. It's a lot, maybe trying to get away, but the bash is out. Pops the fairy fire. FY's on the high ground. Should be able to get close enough to offer the disable, and there it is. Shackles out, trapping back the Spirit Breaker. Now maybe can turn towards Tims. The Mud Golem's done as well. Tims does still get the charge, but he cancelled it. He cancelled the charge.
Ooh. Ouch.
Should have got out there. I mean, maybe a right click was going to chase him down, but either way, if he was able to charge and just have sort of the base regen, I think he would have lived.
Just maybe, yeah. And it's 2k gold advantage up for LGD off of all these quick moves around the map. And I mean, Ame, sure, like we said, he died, but he's already got the Midas queued up after the phase boots. He's having a great time in that top lane. Same thing with the Tidehunter. TNC. Need to start getting some of these ganks to go in their way as we see mid, that charge coming out.
Deep one, and it's a little too deep for Tims. He'll hold back.
They have a lot of ways to catch though, right? With the Spirit Breaker, with that Templar Assassin, their vision as well as their ways to chase targets can be pretty high.
So we go Armel.
Armel.
Let's get gone upon here again with the Mud Golem. The chase down, he has the refraction. Armel now with the turn. Tims trying to block him off, keep Armel safe.
He's level 6 though.
And Tims is dead, maybe claiming another kill. This Leshrac
he wants more.
Out and out of control. Heads in, lands the stun. Armel, he turns and maybe just giving up his life. Armel, he's got refraction back up. And as soon as maybe gets in and finds the kill, he loses his life. Charging from Tims, TNC. Trying to strike back, but a big one there. Taking out maybe's Lesh after he's had such a good start getting kill after kill in that middle lane.
He was definitely feeling himself. He's like, I got the stun, I still have some mana, but it's a Leshrac. You're still fairly squishy under that tower, of course.
See top, the root. They've got the control with the shackles. It's an easy grab onto Cuckoo.
And you see how he prioritized the 2 points in shackles, only 1 point in the nuke as well this time. Because like I said, there's so limited ways to break these shackles this game. We have to watch FY how much he's going to be able to grab.
Yeah, he's going to have such a free time this game.
Yeah.
Power of the Shaman pick, and FY, you know that he's going to find the opportunity around, as you say, the very minimal responses that TNC have with the draft.
Yeah, I've been looking over at TNC and they haven't actually started stacking just yet for Armel. I see the trap is placed down on the Ancients, but besides that, yeah, they have no stacks in their jungle at all. And LGD, they have actually stacked a few camps for the Tidehunter or for that Lesh.
See Gabby getting space down bottom, but still the 3 cores of PSG LGD just that little bit ahead.
Yep.
Off the back of these lanes, and once again, see the head down towards the bottom, and maybe he's going to be able to secure himself that regen route.
I love Chalice rushing the medallion in this game. I think it synergizes perfectly into their team, allows them to take Roche, and it is the anti-TA in Bristleback. It's a really good item choice this time. We've seen it more, of course, on the Tidehunters, but just that straight rushing medallion is good option for his team.
There's a lot of pressure on mid. Nova starts to push in with maybe. Charge is heading the way of the Lesh.
They've got river wards though. They see that coming so early on. They're easily able to back off.
There's a lot of focus on Gabby to get as much as he can here. Being left in this 1v1 against Chalice should have no problem farming away.
Xnova is starting to do what Xnova does best, what we know him to do best. He's just taking over the map with wards. Look at the direction of the wards. He placed the top ward, placed the mid ward, placed another one, put a sentry down, dewarded, and then also placed another opposing ward in the enemy jungle. He's starting to traverse and give so much information for the LGD lineup.
Struggling to find those kills as they were earlier, TNC.
Yeah.
They look towards FY getting away with being able to stand up here, soak up the solo XP and find his way towards 6. TNC are going to move Gabby up to the top lane. Start to amp up the pressure as they look towards this tier 1 tower and try and take away sort of this safe spot where LGD supports can look to soak up the levels. As with Gabby, they've got much more potential in being able to dive the tower and take down whoever is there. FY's going to get back up though. Xnova comes in to join his forces.
Gabby's also their tower pusher in the early game, right? He's got these warpath stacks, so he actually packs a pretty good punch onto this one here. He's going to be able to bring it down, but the rotations are coming in.
They're bringing an extra teammate in. Chalice is going to be here too with the tide. At the same time, Arme's already turning and fighting around the river. The bounty runes are about to spawn.
He's pushing 3 heroes away just like that because he has backup.
And that whole movement is sort of taken away from them. They're out of there. Sure, the tower falls. They don't get any kills, though, and still PSG LGD's farm continues to remain at a much stronger pace. A 4K lead at 10 minutes in.
Yeah, it's looking real solid for them right now with this game plan. TNC, they're gonna start getting these big timings. The Spirit Breaker is now level 6, so he can look to set up ganks a lot easier for himself. But it's hard units to gank. He can gank the Lesh, but Lone Druid and Tidehunter, these are not really the easiest options that you want to be able to go for as a Spirit Breaker. It's going to be very hard to be able to get them.
You see already the superior bounty rune control.
Yeah.
From PSG LGD.
And they're just looking to stay together too. They've got this heavy push lineup like we were talking about, like the panel mentioned too. They can group up and force TNC to react to them.
Let's see what they can do to try and stop it, Tims.
TNC's teamfight is not the strongest at all at the moment.
He cannot charge into this. They can look to try and lead in and get catch-offs, but when it comes to this sort of group up and push, it's very hard for TNC's heroes to do much at the moment.
Mid lane.
As they'll lose the top tier 1 tower, they do get the kill on maybe. FY is going to drop the ult, but there's the control. Tims able to control FY, keep Armel safe. They'll pick up 2 kills in the middle lane.
They looked like they wanted to set up for Armel there. I don't think they knew the backup was there, though. He walked in very aggressively as maybe on the Leshrac. FY had TP'd in, but they were not prepared for 3 heroes to immediately jump him. He just gets shredded by the meld. That armor reduction is just still too much for the Lesh, who's very squishy.
Yeah, very important kills to knock sort of maybe off his game. He had such a strong start in the lane.
A smoke under that deep ward that Xnova plays. So LGD, they should see this one coming, but Armel does have the Blink Dagger coming out too. So now more follow-up for that Spirit Breaker. He's pretty strong, level 11 on the TA too. They can easily jump onto the back, onto Ame here.
That's going to be the target. As you say, PSG LGD know this is coming. They're heading over for the counterplay. The question is if they can get there in time. Immediately, TP onto the front lines from Chalice. He's got the threat of the Ravage, and TNC, with that in mind, have to immediately bail. Straight away start to get out of there, but AU will be caught on the high ground. They'll lose 1. FY is trying to see if we can find more. It's Cuckoo.
He got the grab.
It's been grabbed. See if the backup can get her in time. The surge already been used as FY is able to follow up with the Hex. Arme's bet. Now on top of him, just trying to get the main hero in range so he can start hitting away, trying to look for the root, but he cannot quite get close enough. So the bear cannot attack, and Cuckoo is able to safely run away from the full 5-man of PSG LGD. So all things considered, only losing the CM there, TNC. They get everybody else out.
They buy themselves a ton of time to get all this farm up. I mean, look at Gabby. He's got now the Vanguard. The Vanguard's done. So FaZe Vanguard now finished up on the Bristleback. They have crushed that lead down to only 1K now. It was nearing 4K above. LGD not looking to slow down, though. They have Serpent Wards up in about 15 seconds. They're going to take out this tier 2, and I don't think that they'll threaten the high ground, but it could be a potential decision if they get a good fight.
TNC's coming in to try and slow them down. Gabby, as you mentioned, with this newfound Vanguard, feeling confident to sort of just stand his ground and push PSG LGD away from these tier 2 tower pushes, especially when it's the 5 of them. This has been a lot of time where it's been the full 5-man of PSG LGD down here. and they don't have a lot to say for it.
It's very important what Gabby does there. This is what we're saying. He needs to be the one to park himself in front of objectives. If he doesn't make it down there quick enough, they could take that tier 2 and continue to try to threaten more and force more reaction. So Gabby, a lot of pressure on him in this early game, just to be able to keep his team in the game at least, just not losing too much map control. A little bit of a farm downtime here we have.
This is only benefiting TNC though, as you said. The gap being closed. Hood now done from Chalice, still themselves getting the items together to really start to push and try and pressure these tier 2 towers, but it is getting harder for them with the build-up of TNC's cores.
Yeah. We see AU, they actually just pinged him in the jungle there. AU was actually ulting a creep camp. So they spotted that. They know there's no CM ult up now, which it is pretty relevant here. Sure, they've got a decent amount of disables to stop it, but it's a lot of damage that can come out from that CM, as we've seen several times at this tournament.
Coming up to the 15-minute bounty, as we've seen already this game, PSG LGD have, for the most part, been very good at securing the lion's share of them. We'll see if now, with the net worth difference closing, TNC will feel a little more confident to be able to make sure that they can at least get the even split. They are positioned with the 2 up top, so this time around they should be able to make sure that PSG LGD do not get the majority. Back to base, maybe still trying to keep himself up in the farm, and he did sort of fall back a little bit after those 2 deaths.
He always has this nice potential, just he goes back to base, heals, and then comes back to the fight immediately, or comes back to be able to pick up the bounties. His top.
The charge in Tim's. Going to commit with the ult. He is on his own at the moment. The rest elsewhere inside the jungle. In fact, the TNC's own Gabby starting to poke at Chalice, but knows the Chalice. He's got a lot of teammates behind him, both maybe down here as well as X-Nova. Gabby, I mean, he knows that it's very hard for them to sort of threaten the Bristleback. He's definitely feeling pretty invincible at this moment in time, and Tim's actually going to poke up top again. He just walked into the lane.
He got Bulldoze off.
Can he get out in time?
Yeah, he
cannot. It was an interesting attempt to, I mean, hey, Serpent Ward's baited.
He looks like he's trying to pressure and make something happen to Ame. Maybe another, like, if Ame goes another wave, then he could go for that. But FY was prepared. I mean, he TP'd up there very early on, over a minute ago, to set up for that, just to protect Ame, because they know the timing's coming. Ame's like, please don't let me die when I'm about to buy Relic. Like, please, please, team. And he is very close to it, so. Setting up around that area. If they get the Radiance, that could be the potential that leads them to just go into the Roche pit.
They're going to have a good shot. He's just been able to run down Chalice. Chalice, he's got the Ravage. They are going to surge out Gabby. They want to try and commit for this. There's no tier 1 tower, so no easy backup able to come in towards the tower. Another trap slow. They're able to just run him down. The root's out, and TNC will manage to kill off the Tide. Chalice is gone.
Very nice. That's, I mean, really interesting how, like, the Bristleback versus the Tide, right?
And they found Ame as well.
The goo, just
Gabby,
constant.
he's on top of the Lone Druid. The control's there from Tim's. There's a good fear, but it doesn't matter. The Iron Shell AoE. Cuckoo gets the double, and LGD's game, it is slowed down massively, and TNC, they're making the most of it. 2 core kills back to back. Straight away, back towards top, charge onto FY. FY will manage to turn, get the Hex out, but Tim's, he's gonna be able to force FY out of this lane, back in the dire jungle as well. Gabby starting to play around with X-Nova's army of animals.
I was mentioning how LGD, they could be hitting a big timing with that Radiance here, but TNC, they're about to have Desolator as well on Armel, so similar thing. LGD has to be aware and be prepared for that Roche, because TNC, like we said, they can set up for it easily. They have Goo, they have Meld, they have Deso very soon. Could easily look to set up for it too.
TNC regaining very nice control of the game.
Yeah, the Bristleback is just, I mean, sure, he does a crazy amount of damage when he has those stacks built up. He had like plus 216 at some point in that fight. But it also helps that he's Ion Shelled and Surged. He's always going to have this backup.
He could just, charge in straight away. I mean, a lot of the time, sure, there's a bit of disable from FY, and they have got the fear from the Lone Druid, but as you say, with that sort of speed and tank ability, Gabby can just charge through it all. Running in as the Bristle, and then, of course, the backup from Tim's. He can literally charge in as well as this Breaker. A lot of go. So as soon as they get an item ahead of these cores of PSG LGD, they can just look to fight. And it'll be very hard for PSG LGD to sort of slow them down in a 5v5. Someone's going to get run upon and jumped on at the start of a fight. And without the use of a Ravage, it'll be very hard to turn around.
They have to leave a Chen creep inside that Roche pit now. TNC has the availability to always leave a trap in there, but LGD does have this creep that they can just park in there to be able to keep tabs of when this is going to start happening, and it immediately does.
He's going for it.
They have to be very ready for this just in case TNC does actually commit forward for it. So it forces the reaction. You immediately see all of PSG LGD walking over.
It's a dangerous area. Armel, you could see, being smart. Heads in, heads straight back out. He knows that he's going to sort of cause this response from PSG LGD. The question is if TNC want to try and take this fight.
Still 1K from Radiance on PSG LGD.
And Gabby.
They know this.
He's going to start poking, starting to force some spells, some cooldowns out of the side. They do get the stun out. They're going to try and go for him here. A lot of chains to the Ravage as well.
Oh my god.
They've got enough. Gabby's dead. Charging coming from Tims, but it's straight away stopped by the Hex. The Shackle as well. FY turns. Another blast. Tims trying to move forward. He's backed up by the pipe. They'll get themselves on top of
nice
one.
Vacuum.
It's a vacuum wall onto the three of them. They've already taken out maybe. Now charging again. They've got Arme. Jump forward onto Chalice. LGD's lost 2 cores. Armel surged up by Cuckoo. He's ready to try and dive for more. Another trap slow out onto Chalice. Chalice, he's up onto the high ground. Does Armel want to continue diving? He certainly does. Tims is charging in.
It's too far.
Tims. Oh, he wanted to. He wanted to, but there was FY by his side of Chalice, so the dive would have been cancelled by a Hex or a Shackle, but still, big plays for TNC. A lot was thrown on Gabby. Sure, they kill off the Bristle, but it leaves the fight open for the rest of TNC to get on top of both Arme and Maybe.
Yeah, Maybe was down to, what, 200 HP after they bring him down just from the quills, just constantly proccing, almost dies. And the power of the Spirit Breaker. I mean, Tim just walks in with Bulldoze, and they can't control him. Like, he gets hexed, he gets shackled. It doesn't matter. They only last for a fraction. And now they get the rush.
That's all they need. A 2 for 1.
Such a fast pace.
Space is there. TNC now with a 4K lead. And it just seems a little weird because PSG LGD, they had this early advantage, but they just slowed down in themselves. And TNC left with no hesitation to strike back, look for the objectives.
Those deaths on Ame, those 2 deaths that he's had back-to-back have really hurt him, slowed him down entirely. Now, the Radiance is going to be coming out, but like we said, Gabby already had the hood finished up. They've got a pipe also finished up, and LGD's physical damage is going to be suffering heavily. Where's it going to be coming from? It's going to be all magic damage, and they have the reduction.
Yeah. There's no way that they can sort of keep up with the pace of the physical damage amping out from the Bristleback Quill Sprays. If Gabby stays alive, even if he dies, we saw in the last fight, he dies, but already so much damage is done that the rest of TNC can just go in for the clear. But now 21 minutes in, TNC in a position to push up to the high ground. They'll start to knock Chalice back into the hands of them. And already Chalice, he's down to half HP on this Titan. He has to be careful. Anytime Gabby and Armel get on top of him, they've taken the tier 3 tower, TNC. They're onto the barracks. PSG LGD have got to do something soon. They will have the Ravage in 10 seconds.
Radiance is finished as well.
Gabby charging in. Tims as well, immediately with the surge down on top of FY. FY's down and out for 45. He'll buy back. Their Chalice, Ravage. It's a big one as well. Catches them all, but do they actually have the damage to follow up? Gabby's in. The vacuum. Oh my goodness, it gets all 4 of them. Gabby's still alive on the front. The stacks building up on Arme. They have lost 3 of them. The Aegis is going to be back, bringing Armel into the game. They've got the Hex. Can they kill him? They're going to try, but Armel's out with the blink. They are able to stop it for now. They go for the grab onto Gabby.
They want to try to get more out of this.
I don't know if they can kill this Bristle, though, Gabby. He's able to just walk away. Surge is there as well for Cuckoo to play it safely. Maybe he's trying to catch them. TNC, they are ready to turn, though. They know that they can. The vacuum's down onto the 2 of them. Armel jumps in instant Hex from FY, but Gabby, he's still free to run around the fight.
Armel.
They do get the sub from maybe onto Armel. Now with the Shackles, can they kill Gabby? Cool Spray's continuing to fly out. Gabby, surge up once more from Cuckoo. He's running away. The Radiance is burning him down. Gabby, has he got any other way to play his way out of this? I don't know if he has, unless he can juke his way all the way out. He'll go for the TP. Tunsi then found him. FY with the zap. As TNC, they tried their best to push the high ground, but PSG LGD are able to shut them down, push them back. They lose a tier 3 tower, but the 2 Rex remain alive.
Look at how much damage Maybe did in that fight. He survived the entire time they're chasing. Sure, the Ravage, the vacuum hits everybody, but Maybe...
It was a great combo, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, he's right in the midst of it, and yeah, there's a hood, there's a pipe, but there's a lot of damage that was still coming out, and that buyback from FY really allows them to be able to push back TNC for the time being. What a close game. That could have even maybe ended the game right there if something goes bad there for LGD, but they're able to hold on. And now they're they're still in an okay spot. They're starting to build up their items. Ame queues up that AC. He needs that physical damage like we're mentioning.
That's going to help a lot as well for his teammates against the Quill Sprays.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, even with that sort of combo, landing the 4-man back wall, it's just very much, other than Armel, the damage output from TNC's lineup, it takes time. They need the fights to go on, the Quill Sprays to begin to stack up. Armel, sure, he can get in on one target with the disable, but there's a lot, with just a high amount of physical damage. But the disables that we've seen, as you say, each and every time catching him out, making it very hard for him to just delete an enemy out of the fight. So PSG LGD are able to outnumber and push TNC back in those sort of situations.
Yeah, Armel does have BKB now, so will be a little bit of a different scenario. He's going to actually be able to focus fire targets without getting controlled. And a smoke comes out, LGD. They've got their Ravage available. They want to try to catch something here. I believe maybe also just finished up the Bloodstone after that Kai. He's level 18.
There we go, mate.
Runs into 4.
He is. He's going to pop the ult off, start to burn down Cuckoo's Serpent Wards are out. Tim's charges in, but there's Chalice again. Ravage out onto the 4 of them. Anchor smash to the front lines. Armel's able to get the BKB out. He's able to cut his way out the Serpent Wards. The walls drop down in the midst of it all. AU with a big ult, but Tim's, he's gone. They've lost the Spirit Breaker. Stump from maybe catches out AU as well. There's 2 supports down on TNC. As again, PSG LGD coming out on top of these 5 versus 5.
They also do, it's crazy how much sustain there is coming out, right? Mentioning how much sustain there is on TNC, but you can never really factor out PSG LGD with what they have when they have a Chen with Divine Favor. He's standing next to his teammates. He pops a Hand of God. They go up 600 health. And they also have the Pipe Aura. So all of these different heals coming into play. You see, sure, their health is ticking down, but it starts ticking back up fairly quickly as well. This is an incredibly close game.
It's Gabby trying to chase one of them down. Already Chalice has had to back up, defend the racks from the creeps. Thanks Nova using that Troll Summoner to hold back Gabby momentarily, making it a little harder for him to get on top of maybe. He'll turn towards Arme, charges out from Tims as he's heading over from the base. See if they're able to do anything with this. Arme, he's going to stay outside.
He's going to see it coming.
He's going to know. He's going to be able to play back with the fear, you would imagine. He turns into the beefier form. Charge does still connect though, unable to stop Tims in time, and Tims therefore able to get the ult off Armel, coming in with a BKB, focusing down the lone druid. Do they have the damage to take him down? It looks like they do. Arme's gone. Now they turn their attention towards Chalice. Chalice forced back. The creep wave is about to come in as well for TNC. This is 50 seconds without the lone druid.
He saw it coming too.
The range racks are falling. There's the buyback now. Chalice heads in. No Ravage though available. Gabby playing around the surge from Cuckoo, allowing him to be very mobile in these fights. Maybe lands the stun. Focus on Gabby. Quill Sprays are out though, and PSG LGD, they know. They've got to be a little careful how they poke at Gabby right now. With that Hood, Solar Crest, and Vanguard, he's beefy. TNC, they'll take that. A buyback from Arme has come out.
That was massive for TNC. I mean, he saw them charging through a ward.
You would have thought so.
He had a ward positioned on near the Alpha Wolves where it is right now, above the mid lane.
And even then, you would have thought the reaction with the fear, but
yeah, he wasn't able to get it.
It wasn't there.
The BKB from Armel, maybe he didn't expect that one also coming out. Maybe thinking his teammates would have been close enough, but no, he gets brought down. Just gonna slow down that timing quite a bit there for that physical damage to get amplified, because they really still are left. They're still missing some here.
13 to 18, 26 minutes, 2K lead for TNC. They've still got some easy objectives to take down bottom. The tier 1 tower stands as they'll move over, start to continue the push, look for this bottom lane pressure.
Yeah, picking themselves up a secondary pipe now also onto the Bristleback. Just like we said, they're just trying to reduce all that magical damage that PSG LGD does have.
Beef it up, cycle through the barriers. Have this uptime that makes it very hard, really limits what maybe he's able to do on the front of these fights as Alesh.
Arcane Rune Bristleback, we see him spamming up to 300 plus 340 damage.
They're going to try and find into this PSG LGD. They're going with a big wraparound from this smoke, from the river. See if they can get the opening, as there's the jump. FY immediately committing with the Serpent Wards. He goes for the shackle, ravages out from Chalice. They're on top of Armel, they've got him, burst him down. 5-man vacuum comes through as they'll try and turn things around. There'll be a buyback from Armel. AU with the big ult, the Glimmer as well. They can't quite cancel it. He's getting a lot of damage out here, AU, in the midst of it all. They've lost 2 on PSG LGD.
Oh my God.
Dead without buyback. Tim spies back as well, as they know that this for TNC is the fight for them to take. Armel looks towards maybe. He's popping the Bloodstone heal early to try and put them off. FY goes for the TPA, won't make it. It's Gabby with the triple kill. They're chasing down for maybe as well. He's back to the shrine, but the 3 dead with no health as he'll use himself up. But TNC, they'll clean him up as well. 4 dead on PSG LGD, and 3 of them without buyback. Arme without buyback for a minute.
What a beautiful vacuum, pulling them into the wards.
Into the wards.
Into FY's wards, having the CM ult on top as well with the Glimmer Cape, gets so much damage and control.
It was a full ult, it seemed, from Dayu.
That was beautiful follow-up from TNC. After it looked a little bit scary for a moment after they got brought down, but now they've got this big window. Ame's dead for 40 seconds. Like you said, no buyback. They're going to threaten.
And it was a risky play as well from PSG LGD, coming in with that wraparound. Anytime you're anywhere near the shrine, you know these buyback plays are going to come in from both Armel and Tims, and now they're charging in, diving the base. X-Nova's gone. Chalice, he's trying to TP, but the route's out. He does have the Kraken shell, so we'll be able to walk back to the fountain.
He's still a tanky guy.
But there's more than enough space for TNC to do the damage on this bottom lane, take the tier 3 tower. Almost certainly more, as 4 of PSG LGD just left to sit on the sidelines and watch their base get dismantled.
AU's already prepping for the mid lane. He's like pinging it out. He's like, I'll clear this creep wave. His team decides against it, though. They're going to back up, play the safer game.
Play it safe. Heen agrees.
Yeah.
He approves.
Absolutely.
This is the smart TNC of 2019.
Hey, Roche is up. No need to force things when you can get an Aegis and cheese, and then you can look to clean it up. It's a 6K gold advantage. They've got such a beautiful window here coming out for TNC. And now Armel, sure, had to use the buyback, where maybe it can be a little fear. He dies, fight can be a little difference. Now he's going to have Aegis to at least help him out there. Maybe even Aegis and cheese. They actually give the Aegis to Gabby.
Just so much sort of care and control in TNC's play. They get these leads. We've all seen them in the past. The old TNC throw, it happened a lot of times, but nowadays, not anymore. They'll get the advantage, they'll keep it now. 7K ahead, melee racks up. LGD's got to turn it up if they want to shut this team down.
They're just, I mean, TNC should just keep running at them now. Go run it top, make plays happen. They've got now Blink Dagger also finished up on Cuckoo, so he's been getting all these incredible vacuums anyway, but it's got to continue to happen.
Oh, yeah.
They're just looking for the fight. Gabby's actually deciding to push the mid lane. They're pushing mid and top at the same time, so they can meet up and go for either one of those sets of Raxes. PSG LGD, they have to be ready to set up for this, but Ame is completely stagnated. He's got a Hyperstone finished up, but he doesn't have another item finished up after that Radiance.
He does not. It's taken him a long time. All 3 cores of PSG's LGD's game has just been slowed down. Cuckoo, his net worth surging far ahead, above the average now. With these sort of plays, his involvement in the fights, the setups, and the way that he's been using PSG LGD's skills against them. You got to be careful with those Serpent wards. You'd end up trapping up your teammates.
Surging, huh? Chalice.
I mean, Gabby, he's just in on the front.
FY and Ame are wrapping around right now.
I mean, wrap around for what? What can they do?
They look like they're trying to catch the TA. They know he doesn't have Aegis. They know he took the cheese.
Let's see if they can get the jump on him. As Gabby, he's just hitting the racks. The racks are falling. Let's see, FY. He's got the control, Serpent Wall's down, but Tim's immediate reaction. Vacuum Wall's down, already in trouble. Gabby pots the BKB, looks towards Ame. Tim's again and gets another charge through. That's FY down. Chalice will pop the Ravage. He's in. Can they get anyone down? They'll get Tim's. What else can they get? Ame's already dead. Gabby dominating. Now on top of X-Nova. He's just running in against the 3 of them. Chalice and maybe, can they do anything to hold this man back? They'll use up the Bristle, but he's pretty much full HP. Gabby can just return to hitting racks, hitting heroes, whatever he fancies. It's Ame and FY dead for a minute. The top racks are taken down. They'll move towards mid. I mean, from the 10th minute, well, I guess what about the 15th minute onwards, it really just felt like LGD, they left the game. TNC, they're walking all over them.
His Bristol back is just immortal. Look at him. In the midst of 3 heroes, 55 HP per second.
Do anything about that map. As Gabby will now get stunned, but still half HP. He's got the Aegis for 2 minutes. He can just stand his ground, take these structures.
Just turns his back.
And there we have it again. Cuckoo, these multi-hero vacuums every single time. PSG LGD just getting tossed around, vacuumed about. They will burst him the once, but Gabby is going to be back with vengeance for round 2 as here he goes.
They're controlling Armel.
Focus down FY. Armel's able to get the BKB, the cheese off as well. FY will go for the Ghost Scepter TP out. But Gabby, he needs to go nowhere. As he knows, Chalice, very low. A fear will spread the Bristleback away from the tide and will keep him alive. But the base of PSG LGD just laying in shambles. 12K lead for TNC. And PSG LGD, they've just not been able to do anything to slow down this meteoric rise that that TNC's had in this second half of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. They're trying.
No stopping them.
They're trying so hard to get those wraparounds, right? FY and Ame did this insane wraparound to try to catch this TA, but they couldn't bring him down in time. They have the follow-up, they have the control, and they have the sustain. TNC, they have all these pipes, these vacuums coming in over and over again, just so clutch. And Gabby, just an absolute monster this game. This bristleback.
They just cannot kill him.
They're just keeping all the lanes pushed in. They will naturally push in anyway because the racks are all taken up, but they only have one left.
I mean, what's the play? Where's the damage?
They don't have the physical damage to be able to bring them down. They have control. We've been able to see it, but
they'll kill Tims. Maybe they'll kill AU, but in terms of getting Gabby, Armel, or Cuckoo, it's just not happening.
No, they can bring down like 1 or 2 targets if they focus fire them, but if it's a 5-man, it's much more difficult. They're going for Tims here. He doesn't get bulldozed off, and he just gets full duration shackled.
AU's got full BKB now on CM. So even sort of the squishier hero is looking a lot harder to take out as Armel. He's had a tough one, did get knocked back, but that buyback play coming back in, keeping it back on par with the average. He's keeping it solid.
Yeah.
And it's, that's not the easiest thing to do against a team like PSG LGD. But they're making it look pretty simple right now, TNC.
PSG, they're still trying. They're still trying to push their lanes out. They're still trying to keep themselves in this one as long as possible. But still so difficult. Just this bristleback is just unkillable.
I really just feel at this point, for PSG LGD, they're almost just sort of waiting for TNC to make a mistake. But the TNC of today, as we say, they're not the team they were before. These mistakes don't come out from TNC anymore.
Yeah. It's just so, who do they want to focus fire now? If they get the duration, if they get the shackles on somebody, they might be able to kill them, but they're so tanky. Look at this, 34 armor on Darkseer. Like you said, Crystal Maiden with a BKB. The focus firing from LGD is gonna just get more and more difficult now. As if it's already been any easier.
Just anytime they try and come out from the base, Gabby, he's always between both teams, making sure that they have no chance of getting close to any of the other members of TNC.
And maybe he's 8-4-10 in this game, but he's still, it's just too much of them grouping up, like TNC just grouping up and barreling together at PSG LGD with that one advantage they got. They're trying to hold them off here, the Hex.
See if they've got nearly enough damage or control. They'll bring him down a little bit. Shackles as well, but Tims straight over and across, freeing up Gabby, charges into FY. Fear as well to send back the principal, but AU!
Oh my God!
Vacuum! The combo Cuckoo! He drags them all back in to a beautiful ult from AU as the buybacks will come out. They do find Tims, but TNC, again, these team plays, Cuckoo with these vacuums again and again and again. He does get shackled. They will get vengeance. They will take him down. Them mid-racks falling precariously low to going out, but they do keep it alive. Even though, again, I feel like every time we see these great back walls, the fights don't end up actually going that well for TNC. It's, Cuckoo's trying his best. And they look flashy, it looks brilliant. Every time, I don't think we've seen him hit less than 3 heroes when he goes for the combo.
Yeah.
But still, sometimes LGD, this time, of course, with the buybacks in play, they are able to hold.
Yeah, we see. Look at that BKB CM. Look at that. Beautiful. But the Chen heal. That's the other thing also that does counter things out. Like Ame would be dead without that Chen heal. That pushed him up into more than enough threshold to be fine. So they do have things to try to counteract it, but it's just too hard for them to bring down all of the cores. They keep bringing down like one of the cores, but killing all of them is just super difficult because of how tanky they are.
Well, still very much keeping that momentum. Yeah, they don't manage to get the racks, but it is 2 buybacks that PSG LGD have to use to hold. And now, it's sort of PSG LGD's test if they can get away with taking some structures themselves, if they still have this tier 1 in the mid lane, TNC.
Cannot believe that tower's still alive. And Gabby, as we said, that what his job is and what he's done all game, you want to take an objective? It's not happening. He's going to sit there. He will turn his back and look at you.
And as soon as Cuckoo's up, they can look to try and force that final Rex off the map. In terms of waiting for Roche as well, could also be appealing.
Yeah, coming back up pretty soon.
If they want to play it safe, TNC could certainly look to do that. Chalice.
Gabby doesn't need to play it safe.
No, he doesn't. He can go where he wants. Chalice being poked away from the pit. Cuckoo surging in as well. Oh, he's on the clip.
The bear is up there too. They're both up there.
The melon and the bear. Oh, he does manage to force down, but the bear's still up there.
He'll be able to recall it down though.
There you go. He's down and out. See if they can go for Chalice still though, as he's falling pretty low. Hand
the back line. FY, he found Armel.
Oh, but the Wards as well. Armel's dead. FY doing the best he can to bring them back in. AU just stand his ground with the BKB and the ult. Maybe looks for the stun. AU, they have to step away from him. Gabby still continuing to chase down Chalice's Tidehunter. Chalice falls lower and lower. Another grab. FY, the shackles onto AU, but the vacuum on 3. Gabby, he's already picked up 2 of them. FY holds back, sticks around with the extras out to take down AU, but the buybacks come out from both AU and Armel. They're charging in. Tims and Gabby ready to go for more. Arme TP's out just in time, but FY, and maybe they've been left behind. Triple kill for Gabby. He can now look to go to the high ground. Yule Scepter will stop him. Cuckoo's got the surge though. Gabby continuing to dive in, chase down PSG LGD, still sitting at full HP on the Bristleback. Chalice dead for 75, no buyback. Arme trying his best to push Armel away from this final set of racks in the mid lane. Gabby now turning over to help out. Cuckoo Shiva's guard slows down Arme. PSG LGD, they will stand their ground. Surrounding this final racks, Gabby, he's back in, another grab from FY.
He's facing forward.
Trying to do his best to allow maybe the opportunity to get the damage out. So a lot of disable does bring Gabby pretty low this time. Can they finish him off? They're blocking him, but again, a vacuum onto the 3. Shackles from FY.
Again.
They're still trying everything they can to kill off Gabby, but they cannot. He's out, back to safety. They're buying time though, PSG LGD. 40 seconds until Chalice is back in.
They've got the glyph. They're holding it a little bit longer
Can
here.
they push TNC back once more?
Oh, AU messed up. He just used his ulti.
See, they've got the Hex again. Locked down from FY. Has the grab onto Gabby. Gabby needs help. He needs it now. The wall's been dropped. Gabby's still alive. Gets the charge.
The BKB.
To put the BKB. And now he's ready to dynamite the vacuum again. Cuckoo onto the 3 of them. They're all dead on PSG LGD. GG is called. And TNC will be able to close up game 1.
Holy moly. They made them work for it a little bit there,
did.
but TNC, they had a game plan, they stuck to it, and this last pick Bristleback was the absolute dream.
It really
for them.
was. They just could put him on the front of it all. People were dying buybacking around him, but Gabby could stand strong. Cuckoo, every single fight, just finding the option to drag in the 3 of them.